Members of the press, I thought we should address you, so you in turn tell our people on the situation. Firstly, that which occurred, was it yesterday, in regard to what was regarded as the extraordinary meeting of war veterans that was called by Minister Mutsvangwa, who is Minister of War Veterans and also Chairman of the Association of War Veterans. Then secondly, on other aspects of our situation in regard to security matters. In regard to the so-called extraordinary meeting of all veterans, none of us here heard about it in advance. And that means the President, the Vice Presidents, the ministers I had occasion to talk to yesterday at night, Sekramai, Mohadi and Chombo, they are all security ministers, also had not heard about this event until it happened. I am the patron of the war veterans. I wasn't informed about it. Later on, even getting to know what the subject was. And Comrade Mutsvangwa, we have appointed him as Minister of War Veterans, the first ever person to occupy such a position when we created it for the first time in cabinet. I don't know in which capacity he invited the war veterans, but it doesn't matter in which capacity, even if he invited them as chairperson of war veterans, he was still minister, their minister. And if the intention was to be a demonstration, demonstrating against what? A government of which he is a minister. If it was to express grievances, what grievances? He has the channel now in cabinet as minister to inform us about the situation of war veterans, channel their grievances to us through his ministry, and suggest to us what measures we can take to alleviate their conditions. But for him to have called a meeting about which we knew nothing, in circumstances in which he had not clearly sought permission from the authorities, in violation therefore of the law, he being a minister, he cannot at the end of it all, after the law and order officers have taken action against the meeting and the war veterans, complain that he was ill-treated or that they were ill-treated. He must bear the responsibility to have invited the war veterans in the name of the president, telling them that the president would want to address them, when in fact the president didn't know about his invitation of them is to disabuse his authority as minister in the gravest way possible. We take exception to that. He has acted in a manner we describe as irresponsible, completely irresponsible, and in a manner which brings the name of the party and that of government brings it, you see, down in disgrace, in a manner in which it is now blemished, criticized, and the people are beginning to wonder whether, in fact, we are governing properly or governing in accordance with the rules. People were naturally hurt, or at least they had this water from the cannons down their bodies, let alone the tear gas in their eyes. We regret that they suffered this. But the man to blame isn't their chairman and their minister. And of course you will have to answer as minister why he has done it without authority. Ministers have, as you know, their own governing rules. They take oaths here, and when we swear them in, that they shall be disciplined, they shall be loyal, they shall hold secrets and not reveal to anyone what happens in cabinet. But there is always, as guiding us in the performance of our duty, the rule and tradition that we act collectively, so that the omission or even good performance of the one becomes the omission or good performance of the rest of us. But when there is this negativity and clandestine, completely surreptitious way of doing things, one wonders whether Minister Mutsvangwa is one and all with the rest of us. He may have grievances which are personal to himself, but those have nothing to do with government. But insofar as the rights, conditions, and interests of the war veterans, we are interested in them. We are war veterans ourselves. These two gentlemen you have here have been gun holders. You can call them bombardier. And you find this situation even in the police force, where people who have been outside fighting, who are war veterans, the army, the intelligence and security department, in the civil service. You find them also now in their homes, retired. Some are farmers, in industries. Some are intellectuals, universities. We have not, of course, been able to cater for everyone and everybody, but we have tried our best along the way. However, the matter is about the meeting of yesterday. And let Mutsvangwa not blame the police, law and order officers for what they did. He deserved that treatment. But the rest of the people he had invited did not deserve it, but he himself deserved it. Now let me also make reference to the disturbing phenomenon of what you might say for regard as man devouring man, comrade devouring comrade, kind of dog fights that are taking place. During the liberation struggle, we had contradictions, sometimes contradictions of a very antagonistic nature, very ugly. But we dealt with them in the manner which recognized that the party had an ideological direction. The party had the objectives, national objectives to pursue. And if these were offended, then those who offended against them, were punished. And this is so even on today. We are a party, a people's party. But a people's party means people with various ideas. However, the basic principles of the party must continue to be adhered to and pursued. The political direction of the party must also continue to guide us. The comradeship and the need for unity and togetherness of the party, that's a fundamental basis on which we build ourselves and must continue to exist. Now, if contradictions develop, they should never be of the nature that is that antagonistic, too negative, where people start fighting each other, insulting each other, abusing each other. And we are seeing this happening now. Even our young people, the party aside, there is also the culture that guides us. Our culture never allows a young person, even an elder, to abuse another. But now we are all being abused. The president, his wife, in a manner that is very disgraceful. It's a shame. If a man or a woman belongs to the opposition party, yes, we may criticize them, but we don't abuse them. We don't abuse them. Culturally, it's wrong. Azitwe. So we will definitely take action where we feel action should be taken within the party. There is need for a whip of discipline now. To be shown and to be used. However, I should end this address by saying our struggle continues. We will not be diverted by whatever else happens, and we know the enemy is working very hard amongst us to get us, to deviate us from the direction we have taken as Zimbabweans with the right of self-determination on programs that are meant to endow people with the necessary wealth intellectual as we educate them, and wealth material as we exploit the resources, their natural resources which belong to them, beginning with the land. It doesn't matter what tribe we belong to. We are all nationals, Zimbabweans, sons of the soil. Vana vevu, abantwana b'umhlaba. That's what we have called ourselves in the past and still call ourselves today. This is because we belong to one another, regardless of which region we come from, which province we come from, which tribe we belong to. And the war was fought on the basis of that recognition that we belong to one another, we belong to each other, we are one as Zimbabweans. And as Zimbabweans, therefore, the sufferings of our people in the one region are our sufferings, and the government in being, the party that they belong to, must recognize and pay attention to their suffering and try to provide the necessary remedies. Quarrels there may be, there are always quarrels in families, in villages, but our togetherness as Zimbabweans shall never be broken. And that's why we say we are just one Zimbabwe, pambiri ni Zimbabwe, pambiri nukubatana. Those programs, as is now regulated and motivated by our engine Zimaset, are people's programs. And they should not be allowed to fail. But let us take care. I want to repeat this again. Take immense care to guard against the machinations of the external enemies, our detractors. They want Zimbabwe not to succeed. They want Zimbabwe to fall. We won't allow it. So those who are saying, we belong to this faction or that faction, I say to them, shut up. You belong to Zimbabwe. First and foremost, whatever you might say, shut up and let us not hear any divisive voices from you. The G40s or what you call Costa, whatever. Shut up. Our young people are arranging that we get together on their day, which is in praise of the President, as it is meant to be a recognition of the President's birthday, but we regard it as the day of our youths. The 21st of February, although the recognition of it is put on the 27th, and what they have prepared for will take place at the Zimbabwe ruins. We want the road to be clear. We want to go to there without division, without the insults from any quarter, with the unity of purpose, with the oneness I've talked about of our being Zimbabweans. And going to the great Zimbabwe is going to our birthplace. For we are now the Republic of Zimbabwe, and the children of that republic are Zimbabweans. And that's why we are going there, and I'm glad our youth have chosen that venue. We want to go and pay our tribute to our birthplace. Let us think of that. Think of what our ancestors have bequeathed as a legacy for us, and what we ourselves in turn shall bequeath as a legacy for our own children. We don't intend to leave a legacy of differences, insults, indiscipline, and quarrels and misunderstanding. No. We want harmony and peace, togetherness, and one drive. Defense, fight for that legacy, fight against any interference from outside, against it. I mean, for any interference from outside with that legacy. It must not be interfered with. To be that togetherness, that purposefulness is what we want to see in Zimbabwe. This season has not been that good. And as we wrestle to provide our people with means whereby they can make do and manage, to cross over to next year. As we do that, we must not have the disturbance, the fights and quarrels that appear to be taking place now. This is time that we all should put our shoulders to the wheel and say, let's work for our people to survive, for our children to continue to go to school. Let's work so we can survive together, all of us, without exception. All of us, regardless of our parties, regardless of our regions, regardless of our cultures. All of us must survive this year. Zimbabweans must survive together. I say, once again, let's remain united. Sibe muntu omunye, sibe munhu mumwe chete, takabatana zvondo tirikande pasi tive nokunzwanana. Mavo veterans, batanai zvichemo zvenyu tinazvo, tine ministry yenyu inoramba iripo, ministry iyoyo, asi hatidi nyonga pakati penyu, kwete. Gwara romusangano, gwara rorukudzo, gwara rokunzwanana, rokubatana, rirambe riri gwara redu. Kwatakabva kure, toyeuka izvozvo. Kwatiri kuendawo kure zvakare, toyeuka izvozvo. Isu vatungamiri tinoramba tichiedza kuti mubatane. Ndinokutendai mose. Hapana muno muZimbabwe watingati uyu ndiye anosungirwa kufa. hapana, uyu muvingi angave muroi, angave tisingabatani muurongo wepati yedu, asi kana totarira panyaya yeupenyu tinosungirwa kumuponesawo ave nekudya. Tinosungirwa zvakare kuti vana vakewo vave sevana vevamwe vese vanoyamurika nefundo. Saka ndo hunhu hwatinodai ihwo. Izvi zvamakuita vadiki vedu, siyanai nembanje dzenyu zvokutuka vakuru nemazwi akadzama atizvide. Zvikandei pasi, zvikandei pasi, zvikandei pasi. Ndatenda.
Thank you very much, Honourable President. With your permission, I will excuse the media to process